What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video here on this channel, Royal James. This time this video is gonna be quite similar to the first video that I did about horror, but this time it's gonna be the top horror movies from the 2000s. So that means from 2000 to 2009. Once again, this is my top favorites, it's my opinion. If you have different movies, that's totally fine. Just leave them in the comment and let's enjoy everyone's opinions in the horror community. Kicking off the decade in 2000, I have three movies. So the first two are Ju-On and Ju-On 2. And we also have, it's not a secret for anyone, Final Destination 1. Now, this movie is the movie that is kicking off one of my favorite horror franchise of all time. From 2001, we also have three movies. So we have Jeepers Creepers. Now, this is the only Jeepers Creepers that is worth the watch, in my opinion. We also have 13 Ghosts and The Others. From 2002, I also have three movies. So the first movie will be The Ring. Now, The Ring, I think The Ring saved the horror genre, because it's not a secret that early 2000s horror was not considered or was not taken seriously, and I think this movie actually scared people, so this saved this beautiful genre. Also got 28 Days Later and Ju-On The Grudge, the Japanese version, the original. 2003 we have Final Destination 2. We also have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, the remake. Now, if you know me, you will know that I love this movie with all my heart. It's my favorite The Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. For me, it has my favorite final girl of all time, Erin, the scariest Leatherface, and it's one of the best remakes in horror history. We also have Freddy vs. Jason. Now, this movie, it actually knows how to combine comedy and horror. We also got Wrong Turn. Now finally we have Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. Now I think this movie has received way too much hate, but I think I love it because I love the book and I was really excited when I knew they were gonna do an adaptation of this. From 2004 we got Saw. Now the first Saw, I think is a beautiful movie because it was scary and it was actually like with more suspense than horror, and it's the least gory movie from the whole franchise. So I think this movie is really good for new people that is coming to horror. And we got The Grudge, the American remake. Now in 2005 we have The House of Wax. Now this movie is actually one of my guilty pleasures because I will always enjoy it. I have watched it so many times, and Paris Hilton, she actually does a really good job, and her kill is the best kill from the movie. So we also got the Amityville Horror, Hostel, The Descent, and the second part of The Ring. 2006 we have Final Destination 3. Now this movie, if you know me, you will know that this is one of my top favorite horror movies of all time. I will always love this movie. I don't know how many times I've watched it, but I think it's the scariest and the most realistic from the whole franchise. We also got Silent Hill, The Hills Have Eyes, Saw 3, When a Stranger Calls, and finally the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. Now this movie I think is one of the most underrated horror movies of all time because I don't see people talking about it, and this movie is actually good. It has an amazing photography, great cast, and amazing final girl. So please people, if you haven't watched it, give it a go. From 2007 we have also really good horror movies, and that includes Trick or Treat. Now this movie was really unique and it's really original because I didn't expect those plot twists and involved the main character. We also have Wrong Turn 2. Now like I said before, the first and the second are the only ones that are worth the watch. So we also have I'm a Legend, Saw 4, Wreck, The Messengers, and The Orphanage. Now from 2008, almost ending this decade, we have Saw 5, The Strangers. Now The Strangers is again on my top 10 of my favorites horror movies of all time because home invasions, they really scare me because that can actually happen at any moment. I also have Prom Night. Now this remake is another guilty pleasure because I know it's a bad movie, but I enjoyed it, so that's why it is on this list. We also have Quarantine and Mirrors. Now Mirrors is another underrated movie that I don't see many people talking about it, but it's really good and it has a perfect and original concept. And finally, the last year of this decade, 2009, I've added so many horror movies that I loved, and the main reason is because I grew up at the late 2000s and the 2010s. So those movies are The Orphan. Now this movie will give you one of the biggest and most important plot twists in horror history, and you will never see it coming because, to be honest, when I was watching it, I didn't expect it. We have the Friday the 13th remake. Now, if you know me, you will know that this is my favorite horror movie of all time. This is my number one because, like I said before, I grew up watching it, and this is like one of the first horror movies that I ever watched at the cinemas. Also have Jennifer's Body. Now, I think I'm gonna do a review about this movie, but this movie is so worth it, and I think it's way too ahead of its time because it actually involved demons in a perfect way, in a teenage way. So that's why I loved it. And Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried, they do an amazing performance that save and help this movie to grow. I also have Drag Me to Hell, Zombieland, The Case 39, The Last House of the Left, Triangle, The Stepfather, Sorority Row, and The Collector. Alright people, so that was it. Those were the top favorite horror movies from the decade 2000. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, give a like, leave a comment with your favorite horror movies from that decade. If you would like me to do a review from any movie from this decade or any movie that you would like, I will be more than happy to do it. So don't forget to leave me your comment, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.